So the Fed has lowered interest rates by 50 basis points. This was a surprise to a lot of people. We're going to talk about it tonight, talk about how you are able to position yourself, make more money, save more money. I'm going to put on our 90-second clock. Please like the video. And then when we come back, we're going to have a cool discussion with regards to what happened to the Fed at the Fed today and how we as upwardly mobile Black women can use this information in order to financially grow and prosper. Here's our 90-second clock. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. For exclusive content and invitations to our Inner Circle Zoom meetings, which happen on a monthly basis, you can sign up for free for our email newsletter at bwmakingmoney.com. That's bwmakingmoney.com. Hey, ladies, welcome to the discussion this evening. Our homeboy, our friend at the reserve, he's not my friend, he's not your friend either. The guys and the gals at the Federal Reserve have decided to lower interest rates. Now, some people, it's controversial because some people are saying they should have lowered interest rates a while ago. Some people are like, it went down by half a point or 50 basis points. They were thinking that would only go down by 25 basis points because by changing this, by lowering the rates 50 basis points, there are potentially political implications that could favor Harris and blah, 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 blah. We're going to talk about a little bit of that tonight, but mostly what I'm going to talk about tonight is like what's happening with the economy and how you can manage your money based on what happened today. So if you are unaware, today at 2:00, Jerome Powell and the Fed announced that they have lowered interest rates by half a point, which is also considered 50 basis points by half a point. So overall, this happened because the Fed had a mandate to get inflation under control. And we had talked about that before. They also were okay with the unemployment rate going up in order to get inflation under control. And most of you remember the days with the 9% inflation and with the 20, and they were taking like stuff like coffee and things like that out of the inflation index. So we know we were paying more than that. Housing prices were crazy. Going to the store to get a carton of eggs was costing people $6, $7, $8, just like craziness with regards to the money, the inflation, et cetera. So their first thing at the Fed was, we got to get this inflation under control, even if it means people are going to be unemployed, even if it means people are going to be homeless. Like the inflation was the number one thing that had to get under control. And there are people out there who were talking for a while saying Jerome Powell and the Fed are not acting quick enough with regards to reducing rates, because they kept seeing that the inflation numbers were still 3%, 4%, and they were trying to get the inflation down to 2%. And you and I in the streets are like, hey, wait a second, but the economy is shrinking a lot. People were coming on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, talking about how hard it was for them to get a job, for them to grow their businesses, things like that. And then a couple of weeks ago, there was a report that said that the US Labor Department overestimated the number of jobs that were created by over 800,000 jobs, right? We also know a lot of people are doing two jobs at a time. They're doing their full time job and a part time job, or they're doing a full time job and a side hustle or a side business. If you have a side business, if you have a side hustle, put it in the chat. Your girl Cherie is seriously thinking about going to get her notary now. Um, and there's a reason why I'm not like, oh, I'm 100% going to do it, and we can go over that at some other point. But uh like the community college down the street is offering a notary class for 200 bucks, and we had Notary World come and talk about the fact that you can make $500 a day. And I was thinking about it. I'm seriously thinking about it. So if you've got a side hustle, if you've got a side business, if you're working two jobs, and then they're bringing in immigrants who, look, I am for legal immigration. I am against illegal immigration. I'm very honest about that. But when a whole lot of immigrants come in, especially illegal immigrants, that reduces the wages that Americans can earn. So we have to have a balance. Jerome and the people at the Fed have to give us a balance, but they were only concerned about the inflation. And in fact, we had played on the channel about a year ago where Jerome was okay with unemployment going up to like 9% in order to get inflation under control. We played that. He went in front of the Senate and told them that. And you and I got that from Diamond Dave, and then I brought it over here because we had a longer conversation about that. So no, the government doesn't care about you. They don't. They care about the economy overall. The economy, the US economy, over 70% of the US economy is consumer spending. So they can't wreck the consumer too, but they're going to take you right to the edge because they got to keep things under control. They're not trying to have a Venezuela situation where the inflation is so crazy that your money can't, you can't buy anything with money. It's useless. So hey to Kat saying Jerome Rome. Yeah, J Ro. He did his thing today. um Baby girl T is in the house saying, hey, live from the study room. I love it. I love it, girl. What are you studying, baby girl? What are you studying? True Mystique is in the building. Mass layoffs are beginning, so it pans out. Yes, mass layoffs have been happening for the past year. The difference is that Jerome thought that people were getting hired. And it wasn't like that. People, look, we've seen some crazy people looking for jobs, right? And you listen to them and you're like, oh, yeah, I know why you're having problems. But there were a lot of people who just couldn't find anything. They couldn't find an entry level job. They couldn't find a job that fit their skills, things like that, which is why I push so much for you ladies to build your networks. Your networks are going to be more important than your skills. Not are going to be, they are. Your networks these days are more important than your skills. There's going to be fewer jobs out there, fewer companies, well, more companies out there, fewer jobs, and people trying to go on LinkedIn and Indeed and places like that to find a job. I'm telling you now, you're going to do better with a network. Tramistique is also saying, how do you make an 800,000 job miscalculation? Sounds like someone needs to be fired, just straight up lies. Girl, you said it. You said, I think they knew. I think they knew. Now, I don't know if they knew the day that they dropped that data, but I think they knew like a while before they came public with it. And in fact, there are people like there are economists that I follow that were saying like early on, the job data is not as good as what is being posted by the Labor Department. So there were a lot of economists who knew. If I can get this AI networking stuff to work, this will be my side stuff. Good for you, Trumasty. You'll definitely get it to work. Dark and Lovely is in the building. Hey, Cherie, checking in from the clouds. Natural hair is popping, skin is glowing. Thank you, thank you. Don't forget my glasses, my eyeglasses. Y'all, this is my signature look these days with the glasses because I'm blind to that, but it works for me. Um, Baby Girl T is doing Calculus 3 in French homework and preparing for classes tomorrow. Excited for this conversation. Well, look, you're smarter than me to do Calculus 3. And French, I was so bad at French. I took French for so many years. And I went, the height of me speaking French was when I went to Belgium for 6 months. I did study abroad. Best time of my life. Best time of my life. This was before 9/11, so you could easily get on planes, get on trains, stuff like that. And I had a great time in Belgium. We traveled from London to Turkey. You know how you would just hop on the train and just go someplace for the weekend. So, girl, love it. Definitely study that French. Uh, Trumacy said, no, they are playing in our faces, lying that job market and the economy was good, knowing damn well it wasn't good and people couldn't find work. Yes, it's true. It's true. They knew. Yeah. Yeah, you wish you could have done study abroad. I am so grateful that I was able to do it. It was one thing that my father blessed me with. My father blessed me with a few things, but that was one thing that, I asked him and he was like, okay, I'll let you go. So he let me go and he paid for me to be there. So this is why I say the father of your children is the most important financial decision you will ever make because my dad gave me a little bit of money every month and it was in the late 90s. So, I think it was like he gave me like $500 a month or something like that. So but yeah, that made a difference. And your girl was hopping on trains and going to Paris and going to London and things like that. And we stayed in hostels and, all of that. But it was a great time. It was a great, great time. All right, let's talk about the Fed. So let's talk about what this means for you. Um, Now, because they got inflation under control, they are going to look at two things. Number one is making sure the recession is as painless as it possibly can be. And yes, I put painless in quotes, right? As painless as it possibly can be. You've probably heard the term soft landing if you've been following the financial news. So they want to have a softer landing with regards to the recession that is here, right? They want it to be as quick as possible and they want the economy to get moving as possible. They are also looking to get the unemployment rate a little bit lower as well. So because they have lowered the Fed rate, we should see some positives. Number one, over time, our cost of getting a mortgage should go down. So you all know Simply Funded. See, I'm in uniform today because I was networking. But your rates for getting your mortgages should go down. People are starting to quote in the high fives, low sixes if you are looking for a primary home. And of course, if you're looking for a primary home, hopefully you'll consider me at Simply Funded. Also, your car loans. If you need a new car and you're going to go to the dealership, hopefully you won't go to the dealership. Hopefully you have good enough credit. You go to your credit union or someplace like that, because the dealerships be playing in our faces with their rates, right? But you are able, or you should be able, due to the lowering of interest rates, to get a car at a more reasonable rate and monthly payment. Credit cards will hopefully start to go down. So, look, depending on how much money you owe on your credit cards, you may see that payment go down $20 to $40. But hey, that's money you can use to, fill up your, not really fill up your gas tank, but get a little bit of gas, or, put it towards savings, or maybe, like, if you were paying $200 minimum payment before, you continue making that $200 payment and you start attacking some of that principal for your credit cards. So, also, homeowners going to be able to refinance, and we're seeing people now starting to call us to refinance. Refinances are expected to go up between now and the middle part of 2025. So, there's a colleague of mine that saved one of his clients $1,300 a month because she had so much consumer debt that when she refied at 6 point whatever percent, uh, she was able to basically pay off that debt and got another $1,300 coming in, in savings on a monthly basis. So, yeah, this is why when people tell Black people you shouldn't own a home, I'm like, do you know that so many of our counterparts have options because they have a home and they have equity? So, just something to consider, something to think about with regards to home ownership. The other thing, positives. If you're starting a business, you would be able to start a business if you're getting a business loan, or if you're getting some startup credit cards. You would be able to get that money, and have the interest rate be lower. So the overall community is especially the small, like true small business community, people who have 200 employees or less, their borrowing costs are going to go down. So when they can borrow money at a lower rate, they're able to hire more people, or they're able to invest in inventory or things like that. So we should, by the end of 2025, we should hopefully see the economy really like start to rev up and move again. It's not going to start right away, but I was on a call earlier today with a gentleman who is like the second in command at the Mortgage Bankers Association, and he was showing us the forecasted graphs with regards to how they expect the economy to be moving. One negative with regards to the interest rates going down is your savings accounts. Your savings accounts are probably going to have lower interest rates unless you already locked in something in a CD or something like that. So, doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, just something to be aware of. So people are going to maybe look for other places in order to put their money. So if you all want to invest in tax liens, tax deeds, other high yield savings accounts, things like that, you're able to do that. So you want to pay attention to that. Unknowns, things that are unknown with regards to how the Fed changing its interest rate is going to affect this. The stock market. Nobody knows how the stock market ultimately is going to react to this long term. So we'll see. Housing affordability overall, even though the rates are going to go down, it doesn't necessarily mean the prices for the housing is going to go down. In fact, I heard a stat last year that said for every point that the mortgage rates go down, another 5 million people are going to enter the housing market to purchase a house. So that's going to mean that there's more demand than supply. And, housing prices themselves may go up if you're trying to buy a house. So we will see who wins the election and if Kamala Harris can truly pull off getting 3 million homes built over the next 4 years. We'll see. Um, if there are more people looking to buy houses, that doesn't necessarily mean the rent is going to go down. So, just be prepared for that. Um, Also, prices are not going down. I know that Kamala Harris said that she's going to go after, the gouging and things like that. Your groceries, your other living expenses, like the prices are the way that they are right now. So I have it in here as an unknown because that was what one of the articles as I was reading said. But truth is, everybody's saying it's an unknown. I don't think the prices are going down. I think you need to skill up. You're going to need to skill up in order to get the amount of money that you need in order to be successful. And then the final thing is that's an unknown is the election itself. Who's going to win the election? I don't know. Anybody who's over here predicting or in any kind of social media space predicting, they don't know either. This election is going to come to turnout. Most people, the supermajority of people, know who they're voting for. If they're undecided, this is my opinion with the undecided. If they're undecided, it's because they don't like Trump, but they're trying to figure out if they're going to vote for Kamala Harris. That's the only reason that someone's undecided. And those people, they ain't that many of those people. I do believe that based on who wins the election, there will be certain executive orders that are going to come out from that administration. But other than that, we'll see. No matter what, 2025 is going to be a time for people who are on their purpose, who have a vision, who are skilled up, who are doing their thing to actually like build and grow and things like that. There's no reason why anybody in this channel, Upwardly Mobile Black Women, why next year you're not making significantly more money. Whether you're starting a side business, whether you're doing a side hustle, which you all know I don't like side hustles, but okay. Whether you are skilling up with your certifications. I see Tam is here. You all know if you want to be in tech, go to Tam at Women in Linux. Tech sales, I just saw a woman, a young lady, Black young lady, who's saying she doubled her income this year because she went into tech sales. I'm a mortgage loan officer. I expect to prayerfully be at 300,000 next year. There's a lot of different things you're able to do in order to make money. The worst thing you could do is be stagnant. Final thing I'll say, and then I'll read your messages here. So the reason that my curls are popping like this and I have my little my shirt on is for my company is because I went networking this morning and I met this guy. And y'all know I love me a good wasp, right? And I had met him before, and then I called him a couple of days ago because he promised to introduce me to his brother who does like massive business in the lending space. And so I see him this morning and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" He actually stopped me. He was like, "I love it. I love the fact that you were on your game, that you called me, things like that." And he said to me, "You stick around me and you'll make a ton of money." And there was something in his eyes, you can tell like somebody's BSing you, right? There's something in his eyes. I'm like, he's probably right. He's probably right. Um, I'm here to tell you that don't stop with your networking. Skill up, right? Number one thing is skill up, those technical skills. Soft skills are going to be a massive thing for you to make money. And then the third thing you all know is those multicultural networks. If you're child free, You should be out networking at least once a week because the jobs are coming, but they're not going to be most likely listed on LinkedIn or Indeed. People are going to contact you directly if they know who you are and they know what you do. That's the real way that people are going to make money in this economy. So let me read the rest of what you all said here, and then we're going to head on out. Sheed is here saying, okay, Sheed. Baby girl T is saying, I'm studying abroad fall of 2025 and spring of 2026, going to Abu Dhabi in the fall and Paris in the spring. Sounds great. Be careful in Abu Dhabi. They have different rules than Europe and the United States, but I know you have your head on straight. So Tam is saying 400K to 600K in equity. Are you talking about the houses? Yeah, a lot of people have. So the average homeowner in America has $296,000 in equity in their home. Average. Average. And the other thing is like 38% of people don't have a mortgage on their homes. It's like really interesting. So she is saying not going to happen. Most are not in a good situation to buy. Most who? Most people? Most people are in a good situation to buy real estate, property. Here's the thing. If you're saying 50% of people are not in a situation to buy, I would believe that. But I get applications every single day. And when I tell you, I see the bank statements of people, how much money people have in their 401ks, their stock markets like that. There are a lot of people out here with money. We in Black America believe that everybody is broke. We in Black America believe that CNN is right, nobody has money. That is not true. When you start going out and you start networking with people and then you start seeing what people have and the money that's going back and forth and what they're doing, yeah, most people are not in a good situation to buy 50%, but the other 50% are. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Just wanted to come make those statements and yeah, we'll have more messy money topics and all of that over the next few days. Take care, everybody. Night.